Some nice ones. Thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but
how do you feel about Manny Pacquiao?
No, I love Manny, and I'm glad Manny going in too. Manny's one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in his true.
Boxing professionals are weighing in on the upcoming bout between Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Oscar de la Hoya has voiced his support, expressing his best wishes for Pacquiao. He firmly believes that Pacquiao can still win, calling him a legend of the sport. According to de la Hoya, Pacquiao's experience and heart give him a real chance at victory, even against a younger opponent like Barrios.
Thank you so
I
much.
wish him all the best.
Cuadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Cuadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's
Oscar needs.
He's a legend. You know,
Some nice ones. Thank you.
he's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr. speaks with deep admiration, calling Manny Pacquiao one of the sport's all-time greats. His respect is rooted not just in Pacquiao's accomplishments, but in his consistent willingness to take on top-tier opponents. For Jones, Pacquiao's return is exciting. It offers fans a glimpse of his past brilliance and a chance to reignite his legacy. He believes this is an opportunity for Pacquiao to prove that true greatness doesn't fade easily, even when the odds are stacked against him.
How do you feel about Manny Pacquiao?
No, I love Manny, and I'm glad Manny going in too. Manny's one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in two of his first three fights, then come back and do all the things that Manny did. That story is also just as awesome as Manny Pacquiao's story. You feel me? I mean, come on. Most guys can't bounce back from a knockout period. He got knocked out early in his career twice and came back and did all this.
Eddie Hearn approaches Pacquiao's return with a mix of admiration and realism. As a seasoned promoter, he understands the risks of nostalgia-driven comebacks. Hearn doesn't question Pacquiao's legendary resume, but he emphasizes the impact of time away from a ring. Inactivity can dull reflexes and affect conditioning, especially against younger, active fighters like Barrios. While Hearn believes Pacquiao could still outclass many opponents, he warns fans not to expect a version of Pacquiao from his prime, urging them to respect his legacy without placing unrealistic expectations on his performance.
It's a very contentious subject, like, you know, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like, we were talking about fighting him with Conor Benn maybe 6 months ago or a year, and every month or 3 months or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, you know, I guess there's two questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably. In the ratings world and activity world, the answer is probably not.
Do you think it's strange that he's coming off the couch and getting a title fight like that?
I think when you've achieved what he's achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit differently to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots, and Barrios is not Crawford. You know, and that's why, you know, we pushed the Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn, like, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually Pacquiao is a step up, you know, and people were still complaining at me for mentioning that fight, like Conor Benn is Boots, you know, but he still hasn't had those wins yet.
Ricky Hatton raises serious concerns about the sport's willingness to stretch age limits for the sake of big names. He views the Pacquiao versus Barrios fight as part of a troubling trend, where aging legends are approved for fights that could do more harm than good. Drawing from his own experience and referencing returns like Mike Tyson's, Hatton questions whether regulators are doing enough to protect fighters. While he acknowledges Pacquiao's enduring skill, he doubts whether he should still be competing at this level.
4 years he's fighting for the WBC welterweight title. That's July the 19th in Vegas, ironically. What did you make of that news when you heard it?
Well, it's boxing today, innit? To be honest with you, boxing's thing. You know, if you can let a 58-year-old Mike Tyson box a Jake Paul, then, well, Manny Pacquiao going back at 46 doesn't look too bad, does it? But Manny is coming back, though. You know, Tyson was coming back fighting Jake Paul. Manny's coming back fighting for the world title. But, and I say this with love, you know, how has Manny got his world title shot? He's been retired 6 years. He can't. He's got that on our previous successes, hasn't he? You know, to walk straight after being retired so many years ago, straight into a world title fight. How is that allowed possible? What happened? Surely he must have been dropped out of the rankings when he retired. All of a sudden, he decided to make a comeback. They put him straight in at #1 contender. I think only boxing can answer that.
I think he's. Did you say fifth, Joe? He's been already placed fifth in the world ranking.
Fifth in the. How can he be placed back in the top 10?
Comeback fighter.
Yeah, you know, when you've been retired years, and you know, on your previous, he was a hell of a fighter a few years back. But we don't know what he's going to be like today. So you know, you'd like to think he'd have a couple of warm-up fights so we can say, yeah, and then get him in. But boxing these days, I think the money's everything in it.
You fought both, obviously. In your opinion, who's better? Who's tougher?
I think Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I think Floyd Mayweather. I mean, and that sounds rich because he absolutely was probably one of the most brutal knockouts in boxing history, I'd say. You know what I mean? When I see him getting knocked out by Pacquiao on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that, it's in the top 10 of the most destructive knockouts of all time.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit past myself back in the day. You know, I'd had one or two. I wasn't a master of defence like Floyd Mayweather. I'd take 4 to get one in sometimes.
Ben Shalom enters the conversation with evident concern. As a promoter, he understands the appeal of a major event headlined by a legend like Pacquiao. However, he also feels a responsibility to protect fighters, especially when they're past their physical peak. Shalom warns that while Pacquiao's name guarantees attention, the human cost of these comebacks is often overlooked. He points to examples of former champions who suffered physically and mentally after taking one fight too many.
Thank you to Manny Pacquiao. Unbelievable career that we may never have a career like that again. I want you to take with you, when it comes to Manny Pacquiao, is moments. By taking themselves out of a comfort zone, challenging themselves. And Manny Pacquiao is a dinosaur when it last of a dying breed. We're not going to see too many fighters like this ever again. And Pacquiao is going to be the type of fighter that we tell our kids about. Pacquiao has 20 wins, greater than some of your favorite fighters' best win. Manny Pacquiao has 3 Hall of Fame careers in one, winning legit titles in 8 different weight classes. Pacquiao's legacy will age better and better and better. Times go on and on and on. A fighter like Floyd Mayweather, I think his legacy will diminish a little bit. Salute to Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest of all time.
Ryan Campbell takes a balanced view. He acknowledges that Manny Pacquiao is no longer the fighter he once was. Age affects everyone, yet he believes special athletes can still create special moments. Referring to George Foreman's incredible comeback, Campbell reminds us that boxing has a history of defying expectations. While he doesn't predict victory, he leaves space for Pacquiao to surprise the world once again.
He does. A Senate position in the Philippines, so we always know that Manny is a busy man. He gets after it. He also dares to be great, and this is wild news. Look, in the boxing underground rumor mill, this had been floating around for a couple months. We just didn't know if it was going to be for real. Was Manny really going to commit to not just coming back after 4 years away, after just one fight in the last 6 years, at age 46, but to come back directly into a title fight against a young, in his prime, active champion, Mario Barrios? It's interesting theater, to say the least. It's a pay-per-view main event, reportedly for July 19th. And we know Manny Pacquiao has always brought big business, but now he's going to bring it in more of the late career George Foreman type of way to etch himself into that record book even further. Can Manny do it? I mean, look, the odds are certainly against him, but there's one thing about certain legends in this game. Think Bernard Hopkins, who fought into a very late age. Some of them, as long as they can physically get themselves into that ring, sometimes they can reproduce magic for one night. So it's a romantic situation. I got cats walking around.
Yep.
People are excited to see the Pac-Man back. You just got to kind of figure out, is this for real? Is he going to be for real? Or are we going to send him into a physical, violent retirement?
Greg Hackett offers a blunt perspective, stripping the fight of any romanticism. For him, this bout isn't about glory or legacy. It's about business. Hackett believes that if this matchup had taken place during Pacquiao's prime, Barrios wouldn't have stood a chance. But now, Pacquiao is no longer the dangerous force he once was. He's simply a name that sells tickets. In Hackett's view, the fight is driven more by marketing than merit.
Sound like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios' ass. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might fuck around and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but, you know what I mean, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like Ugas, the Ugas fight?
Yeah, like on some shit like that. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang, so, I mean, why not? If he could make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on the record. I mean, I would love something like that. And that's a fight you got to get ready for.
It's a fight that boxing fans want to criticize you for.
Yeah.
But the reality is Manny Pacquiao has a diehard fan base that you're going to make money with that fight.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to see other fights at 47. You Stanionis, you Boobs, you Brian Norman.
Yeah, but he want to steal as much as he can steal. You know what I mean? Because again, this shit is not forever. Just like anything else, it's going to end. So we want to make some money and we want to do great things, but not so great where I get in there with a guy that'll kill me right now. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, fuck it. I'll fuck with Pacquiao. He damn near 50 years old. I'll fight him. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So these dudes different anyway. They different. If I was Barrios, I wouldn't entertain Pacquiao. I'd be on that hunt for the rest of them straps.
Despite the circulating training footage and Pacquiao's confident attitude, seasoned boxing voices remain uneasy. They worry that while his spirit is strong, his body may not hold up under real fight conditions. Training is one thing. Stepping into the ring against a younger, hungrier fighter like Barrios is another. Experts are particularly concerned about his reflexes, stamina, and ability to absorb punches over multiple rounds.